everyone. Today we have a great topic. We're going to talk about what's going on here in Atlanta, a little bit about what's going on in the buyer's side, seller's side. The market is definitely changing, and we have some great information for you today.
Yeah, I think everybody's feeling it, Gamma.
Yeah, definitely.
If you're a buyer, you're a seller, what type of market are we in right now? We're going to talk more about that, have a nice discussion about what's going on in the real estate market here in Atlanta.
One information that people want to know is what's going on as far as price.
Yeah.
And obviously, to discuss about price, when we talk about the median price, so you have an idea. Obviously, when we come to the conclusion of the median price, we know that statistically it's the middle center number, and there could be, some in the half side would be less, in the higher side it'd be more, but it's give you kind of close to an average. But median is more accurate number. That's why we use it.
Yep.
But the median price currently here in Atlanta is $420,000 for a home, correct?
Yeah, so that's looking at all the properties here in Atlanta, 420,000. Obviously, as we mentioned, some homes are going to be below that, others are going to be above that. That just kind of gives you a ballpark figure there. The interest rates have really affected a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going up.
Yeah,
that's right. They've been up there.
Not down,
for a while.
not down.
Yeah, so right now we're at 7.15%. Last year, this time, we were around 6.49%, but it wasn't any better. People still thought it was high.
Well, you got to realize, Alan, obviously where we came from and where we've been, so that's why people are feeling it.
Yeah.
Is obviously when we were down as low as 2.8, 2.7, so people got interest rate. They didn't realize this were interest rate. They only come every 100 years. So some people will not see that in a lifetime. Once in a lifetime, correct. Yeah. And now as interest rates have gone up, people start feeling not only the interest rate, but actually prices going up have created that, a lot of struggle for those first-time buyers to come in and try to buy a home, which it increased the down payment, more closing costs that you need. So that has been a challenge. But we also have some good news we want to talk about.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the buyer side of things right now, Gamaliel, right? We've noticed inventory has been increasing all across Atlanta and a good part of the country. We've been seeing a lot more homes coming on the market. So what does that mean for the buyer then?
Yeah,
if we have more homes on the market.
That's a good question. Obviously, more important than that is, remember those days where you will go and there were so many people trying to buy a home that you make that offer. And,
it was frustrating.
Yeah, it was very frustrating not too long ago. And, even if you had a first-time home buyer program like FHA and all the program, 100% financing, they won't even look at your
Someone would beat you
offer.
Out with cash.
They would beat you with cash, or they would look at all the loans like conventional loans, and they won't even consider your offer. Now the opportunity is not only there's more homes to pick from, but we're starting to see some negotiation also where sellers are willing to pay some of the closing costs, decrease some of the price. But better than that, the bank incentive.
Yeah, there are a lot of incentive programs out there. You can get 100% financing. There's grants that are available. So there are different options or avenues you can take now when it comes to purchase a home to kind of alleviate some of that hhigher interest, right? Kind of give you a little bit of a break to get into the market, especially if you're a first-time home buyer.
Yes, and so if you're somebody who's been sitting thinking about, hey, let me wait for this interest rate to go down, and you've been waiting.
Yeah.
Obviously, you want to go ahead and just the reason why we say to buy is because people don't realize you don't build equity just with when it comes to prices of home going up. You build when you're actually buying the property and you're paying down that mortgage every time. And your mortgage start going down, that's how you build some of that equity. So that's very important for those buyers who've been thinking to go ahead, buy, but also keep in mind the interest rate down the future within the next 2 to 3 to 5 years. Interest rate will adjust, and you'll be able to adjust then to be able to even lower the price a little bit more.
Yeah, you can lower your payments, as you mentioned there. So that's something to look forward to. Instead of renting for another few more years, like you mentioned, you can build equity in those few years.
Correct.
Getting into a home. So if you're a seller, right, you're talking to sellers out there, they're like, well, if the market is shifting, why do I want to put my house on the market now, Gavin?
Yeah, that's a good question. A lot of sellers are asking those questions. It's a very good question because obviously over the past, if you have bought a home in the last 3, 5, 10 years, is one word that you love the most as a seller, that is equity. They've been able to build that equity dramatically has gone up dramatically in the last
Very
10 years.
fast, yeah.
So a lot of sellers right now are standing on a lot of equity they have never seen, and there's a lot of money in those equities. So what's happening is that market like this one, as interest rates go up, obviously there's more inventory in the market, and when
Yeah.
there's more inventory in the markets, prices in able to sell a house, you have to compete and decrease prices and prices. So you have what's going on now with interest rate going up, you start seeing more inventory. Where we're moving is you start seeing more price reductions. So if you've been thinking about selling, I would say if you're thinking about selling within the 1 year to the next 3 years, you definitely want to be in the market and get the most out of those equity, because you will start seeing some of that equity disappear, and that's what's going to cause you to lose a lot of that equity. So you definitely want to be thinking about putting the house in the market at this time.
Yeah, as you mentioned, short-term wise, in the next
Yes.
2 to 3 years, or even now, you may want to think about putting that house on the market. So that's something to think about. If you're thinking long-term, you're safe in that sense.
Yes, Alan. And one thing that I see a big mistake the seller make nowadays is that because obviously we were used to a market where prices kept increasing. People say, "Oh, my
Oh yeah,
neighbor got 400,000. My house is better. I want 450." And that was before was okay, but now the
no,
reality is market price is important. You got to put the
yeah,
home at the market price, or you will end up losing a lot of dollars. And I see that with a lot of the sellers out there. What happened is that you put the house at, say, for sale 450, but the house only worth 400, and then they're not selling it, but they will reduce it, and then the market goes down again, and they're just chasing the market. They keep reducing, but the market,
yeah.
they're late because the market's down, so they end up losing a lot of their equity, and I see that for
That's
many years.
frustrating too.
And it's a lot of money that they lose. So in able to make sure that you get that home sold, you gotta price it at the market price. Make sure that you are working with a good realtor who's looking at all the numbers in the area, but also most important, there's often a good marketing plan, because putting a sign in a home doesn't sell a home anymore. Like those were the old days that anybody could put a sign, any realtor, and the house will sell itself. You don't even need a realtor. But
Yeah.
now, obviously, now you have to go back to doing the traditional marketing. Someone who's working hard to get the house sold. So you need a realtor with experience, not just someone who's just going to put a sign and do anything else and sit in the office.
Yeah, I mean, you were able to do that maybe a few years ago for somebody who
Yes.
wasn't experienced,
Mhm.
right, as a realtor. So things have changed, and the market continues to shift. So the market we're in right now is generally, I would say, a neutral market, very close to that
I
right
would
now.
say that, yeah.
If not a
That's
seller's market, or very, we're getting into that area right now where
yeah.
it's neutral.
And when you're looking, obviously, buying a home is one of the largest investment you have going to do in your life for most people. So very important that you work with an agent with experience who has experience negotiating such a deal. So that way, whether you're a buyer buying a home, you're able to take advantage of the incentive of negotiation of closing costs, negotiation seller contribution, negotiation on inspections, and a lot of other things that happen through this transaction that you can
Yeah.
do as a buyer, that when you're working with an experienced agent, they're able to help you and save you a lot of money. And it goes the same thing with sellers.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a seller, you want an experienced agent who's going to be negotiating on your behalf
Mhm.
and protecting as much equity as possible from your home.
Yeah.
So that's a benefit to have on your side, is having an experienced realtor who can handle all of that, the stress of selling your home and all the steps that go to it to eventually get to
Yeah,
closing.
definitely. We understand every situation, but it's different whether you're a buyer or seller, and everybody has different things that happen in life, different goals. So if you're thinking whether you're thinking about buying or selling a home, feel free to reach to us and call us. We'll be glad to sit you down, listen a little more about your goals, the situation, what you're trying to accomplish, and be able to advise you on what is the best and different options that you will have.
All right. Well, thank you for watching, and hopefully we answered some questions that you may have had stirred up in your head there as far as what's going on with the real estate market. If you have any other questions, comments, leave them below. We'll gladly answer them, and we'll talk to you next time.
Have a great day.
Bueno, sí.